All right, y'all, I got another episode of Cruise Control with y'all. I think this is episode 2, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, episode 3. I'm tripping. This is episode 3. Man, I got my longtime friend, my brother, visiting from Texas. I got my boy Curtis. What's good, bro?
What up, what up?
We straight?
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. So we did a little bit of talking. What was it, yesterday, the day before yesterday?
Yep.
And this is gonna be a good episode, bro. I think you got a lot of interesting topics that we can cover, and you got a lot of experience for your age. How old are you now?
25.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first topic I wanted to cover with you, bro, is like you started your own business in your early 20s.
All right.
How old were you when you first started your first business?
21.
21.
Yeah.
So that already is, you know what I'm saying, kind of uncommon. And so I would say, how was it for you, first of all, jumping into entrepreneurship at 21? I know your dad, you know, he's been an entrepreneur for as long as I can remember.
Right.
So, you know, he was there to kind of guide you and walk you through, you know what I'm saying, some of the avoiding some of the mistakes that he probably made as an entrepreneur. But how was it first having your own business that young and then starting to make a good amount of money at that young of an age?
At first, it was kind of tough because even though my dad had been around it or whatever, he really didn't know the business that I was getting into. So I kind of had to learn from scratch, really.
Mm-hmm.
So learn from other people. I was walking up to people at fuel stations because I started a trucking company. And I was walking up to people at fuel stations and was like, hey, how did y'all get started or whatever? Just trying to kind of like soak up and sponge up any information I can get.
Yeah.
So at a young age, it was just, you know, it was tough, you know, because everybody didn't think that I had the expertise or the knowledge or the experience, but, you know, I made it work. But, you know, coming from that, when I first started, it was rough.
Mm-hmm.
I just got married at the time too, so, you know, it was a struggle on that part too. But, you know, entrepreneurship, you make money some days and some days you don't. So
yeah,
that was crazy.
So you got married first before you started to be okay?
Yeah. I got married first, and then I just took that leap of faith and started the company.
Yeah.
But you know, of course, it was a rough part at first, but once stuff started catching traction, it was good, man. I was very, very successful in it.
Was your dad supportive of you kind of like branching off and trying to do your own thing?
Yeah, I mean, he was, because him and I, we worked together before, because I have some partnership with his company too, but him and I just didn't work good together. So when I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to just start my own company or whatever, you know, he just told me to go for it. And
yeah,
he told me some tips, of course, starting a business, but that was about it.
Well, my second question, I didn't realize that you had started the business before you got married. But my next question was going to be, I guess you could still answer it in a way, but it was going to be,
well, after I got married.
Yeah, you started the business after you got married. I was going to ask you, how was you chasing entrepreneurship? And, you know, we talked about the whole money thing, and I don't know at what age or what stage in the business did the money start to roll in, but you did get to a point where the money started rolling in and you was doing really good.
Right.
So how did, if at all, how did the entrepreneurship and, you know what I'm saying, starting off chasing the dream versus the money start to come in and coming in well, how did that affect your marriage, if at all?
For one, you know, it's my ex-wife now, but her and I have a pretty decent relationship, but it affected us because coming from a entrepreneurship background and a lifestyle that I've been used to from my parents or my dad being in a business for my whole life,
yeah,
I know the ups and downs of it. But most people, women, men, whatever, don't understand the risks and the struggles that you go through, the ups and downs. So everybody is used to like 9 to 5, we getting the same check. It's steady. It's gonna always be coming in. But being married to someone who's used to that, you know, every week I'm getting the same check. It's gonna be good regardless, whatever. I'm still getting the same check.
Yeah.
If somebody is used to that and they're not used to, like, some weeks we gonna make money, some weeks we not.
Yeah.
That was a struggle because, you know, it was some weeks where I was like, hey, let's do this and let's do that. Like, let's blow the bread or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But it was some weeks I was like, hey, I need to just relax. I need to chill.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't make a lot this week. But, you know, I was used to that. Like, I was used to those shifts and changes in finances. But, you know, because that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
But,
and you don't necessarily feel like she was always understanding that that's how the game is sometimes.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. But, you know, I did get to a point, you know, later on where I was like always pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
With what was coming in.
Yeah.
You know, on what business started really boring.
Do you think it was good for you to get to a point where you were making a lot of money and you were able to save a lot of money at that younger age? Do you think they gave you like an advantage, or do you think like it came a little too fast?
Based on my experiences, I know we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
But like, dude, when I was getting to the latter half of my marriage, then like the business started really booming.
Well,
I was young, so my mindset was not always like, oh, let me say this, let me put this to this, or whatever.
yeah.
You know, when you get money like that, sometimes, bro, it can really change the way you think. Like, man, I can do this, I can buy this, I can buy that, I can go party here, I can fly here. So I was doing all of that stuff when business was great. So now that I think back on it, I'm older now.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I wish I would have known or been around people to be like, hey, you need to chill, or hey, you don't need this, or hey, you don't need that,
Yeah.
or whatever. Because my mindset wasn't like the best when it came to that, because I was getting a lot of money, and just not being able to manage it correctly was.
And then sometimes like it's just, sometimes you be caught in the energy of like you want to do stuff that you always wanted to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily that like you don't want to save it, or that you necessarily are like just terrible with the money. But sometimes it's like, man, I always wanted to go to Dubai. I always wanted to have this car. You know what I mean? And it's hard to tell a 24, 25-year-old not to go get that Mercedes.
Right.
You know, not to go get these clothes or whatever the case may be. So I think it's a tough lesson to learn for sure. You know what I mean? But I think it's a lesson where like you did that at 20-something, or we did that at 20-something, we're not going to do it again at 30 or 40. You know what I mean? You kind of learn your lesson. So I think it sucks because you know that those opportunities of making that kind of money don't always come around. But, you know, if you can do it once, you can do it again. You know what I mean? Like, and as long as you hold on to that mindset of, I know that this ain't the last time that I'm going to be in that position. Now you can learn from that, and going forward, you can do better with the money. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I definitely went through a phase where I was depressed for damn near like a year because of the bad financial decisions that I made. And it was like, you know, I had 6 figures in the bank at one time, you know, in my early 20s. And I'm just looking at all this money, and like you said, I'm thinking about all this shit I could do with it instead of all of the ways I can reinvest it and use that money to my advantage.
Right.
But, you know, you live and you learn and you keep pressing on. But to bring it back to the marriage thing, why did you get married so young? And before you answer that, I remember when you told me you was getting married, because I'm only 1 year older than you.
Yeah.
And you were telling me you was getting married and stuff like that. And I was happy for you that you had found somebody. But at the same time, I was like, damn, why so soon? You know what I mean? Like, why you don't want to get out and live your life and blah, blah, blah. But so why get married so early?
Just the way I was raised, like traditional way of being raised, you know, I wanted to be with one person.
Mm-hmm.
And shit, I mean, I felt like that was the one that I wanted to be with. So,
yeah.
You know, I didn't deny it. I was in love with the person at the time, the family, you know, open arms, you know, brought me in, you know, on her side. My family loved her, so I mean, you know, it just felt right at the time, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
And so coming from, you know what I'm saying, like you brought up, coming from a traditional family, I think we both kind of have that traditional core family type of thing going on, you know what I'm saying? And of course, our parents want us to get married and have children the right way and all of that. Do you think, was there any pressure from your family to get married? Not necessarily get married there early, but do you feel like there was any pressure of, this is what I'm supposed to be doing?
Not really. I don't think so. My folks, Bro, like they know, like if I got a sister, so they know out of her and I'm gonna always be the one that's gonna do whatever I want to do. Like, so it ain't really on them to decide what I do and what I don't do. So I don't ever think that I felt any pressure from them at all. So to me.
So you genuinely did it because that's exactly what you wanted to do.
And then I was always cool with older people too, and everybody that was in my circle at the time was either married or getting married too. So, cause I never hung around people my age. So, I was like, man, it's time,
Do you think getting married at a young age do you think that affects the way you date now?
Oh yeah.
Because it's like you made a commitment that a large percentage of our, people in our demographic haven't got to yet. Well, I mean, we entering our 30s, you know what I mean? So we're getting closer to the demographic that, they do start to get married, but definitely not in 2021. So do you feel like you go into talking stages or dating and you probably can tell very quickly if this is a woman you're going to take seriously or not?
Right.
Way faster than you would have before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had my time, of course, after I got divorced, just to kind of get all of the playing around and just doing my own thing out of my system.
Yeah.
So now when I'm actually intentionally pursuing somebody, I really don't have time for the games or the playing or whatever. So I really know if I want to be with you, if I want to talk to you on a serious level, like we got to be on that same accord to where we both are intentional with our action.
Yeah.
And once I see something, there's pros and cons to how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But once I see certain things, I can cut off so easy. Like I can cut off disconnect 100%, and that's just from my experience. Like I don't have time to waste, because I already see that you're not gonna be what I want for the long term.
Yeah. And I want to come back to the thing of, you said your wife at a certain time was struggling with being supportive of the entrepreneur lifestyle. And, hey, sometimes we could go out, have fun, we could go on a trip, I can get you this, I can get you that. And then there might be some times where I might not be able to do that because I got to take care of the bills, I still got to provide and stuff like that.
All right.
You told me about a story, and I want you to touch on it again, about you were dating a woman and she said something particular to you about you providing and how she felt about it. I want you to speak on that, and we'll talk about how that might have made you feel afterwards, and how it changed your thinking on being a quote unquote provider and stuff like that.
So, like we say, well, like everybody should know, like things stick with you in an argument. Like you can argue with somebody, you can have disagreement, but there's certain things or certain, pressure points that you just don't hit.
Yeah.
So, the last person I was involved with, she constantly used to bring up I don't think you actually want to be in this and whatever, yada, yada, yada. But of course, everything in my actions on my end, I was showing that this is something that I actually wanted to pursue. But we had an argument one time and she brought it out and I told her, I said, hey, you think that if I was not committed to this, I would be doing X, Y, Z for you and your child and paying for this or doing that. And when I brought that up, I guess it hit something in her.
Yeah.
And she said, she said, it's not about the money because you're not the only person that can pay for stuff. Well, you're not the only nigga that's going to pay for something.
Yeah.
And something like that for me, I mean, I'm not the only person that's going to pay for something, but at the same time, I am that guy right now.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's something that you just don't say. But, it is what it is.
Do you feel like when that was said, do you feel like that made you feel unappreciated? Do you feel like you felt undervalued at that point?
Yeah. I felt like that's a real slap in the face. Like, I'm that guy right now, so I don't care what nobody else do or whatever, but that's just...
do.
Right. So, yeah, it's somebody who can come in there and buy you a house. If that's what you want, then go pursue that.
Yeah.
But right now, what I'm doing for you is good. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm not doing anything at all for you. So yeah, that definitely was a little slap in the face. But
I think sometimes, and you know, the whole money thing comes up like a whole lot. You know what I mean? And I think that conversation is more so for dudes who don't want to do anything for a woman, right? And I don't think we necessarily fall into that category. Are we just gonna be out here just dropping a bag on a female? No, like this is not smart to do. And I've talked about that on several other, you know, videos that I've made and stuff like that. But I think the mistake that women make with dudes who want to do good by them and do want to provide for them and stuff like that, they tend to make us feel replaceable, easily replaceable. You know what I mean? And I think, and hopefully you're not doing this, but I think sometimes that women hear some of the experiences that we have and some of the things that we go through, and they don't realize that how much they can change your mindset the next time you get into a serious situation.
Right.
You're like, well, because you could feel like, damn, I was doing X, Y, and Z for old girl, and she still said that.
Right.
So why would I even do it the next time?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because as much as they say, like, hey, another nigga will do X, Y, and Z, I can get a girl just as bad as you or just as good as you and not do as much. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas ain't ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. niggas are well spoken and have a lot going. And, you know, we have personality and stuff, too. I'm not just a chick. I'm not just, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just a fun time. Like, I'm also a good person. Right. You feel what I'm saying? And I think that our experiences sometimes, because we men, we gotta like take that lashing and just move on and act like it didn't happen. But it's like, nah, bro, like certain shit that can be said to you can hurt your feelings and stick with you for a long time. And I'm human at the end of the day. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that yes, it is our job to heal from certain situations, and it's not the next woman's problem that you went through it, but that shit did happen and you can't act like it didn't. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with it, and you got to, you know, assess how you feel about it and how you want to possibly do different the next time going forward. But we still have to process certain things like that. And I don't think we get enough credit for some of the things that we experience and how it affects us.
Right.
But, you know, that's another conversation for another day. But another touchy topic that, you know what I'm saying, we got to kind of discuss. Your wife wasn't black, was she?
No.
What?
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
The whole interracial, you know what I'm saying, conversation, and it gets brought up a lot with men who are successful, right? And granted, you married her before the success really came.
Right.
So, you know, that's not something that pertains to you per se, but how do you feel about, you know, the opinions around successful black men dating outside of their race, or just black men dating outside their race in general?
I coming from an unbiased place. All women to me are beautiful, regardless, point blank, period.
We do not dislike black women. That thing be known. Like, I want to say that off the rip. That's not what's going on.
No, like I've had experiences with different races, different ethnicities. Like, you know, my ex-girlfriend, when I was in Texas, was black. Mm-hmm. You know, I've dated white women. I've dated Latino women. I've dated Asian. Like, it's different races that I've dated. So it's really not anything against any or certain race. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like it gets thrown around a lot that when a black male dates a woman of another race, it's a problem.
Yeah.
When it shouldn't be like that. Because I've seen so many things where they say a black woman or a black woman only can cater towards the black male because they know a black male like no other does.
Yeah.
That's not true. Because I've seen women of other races comfort me in a way that I haven't been comforted by anybody else.
Yeah. And that's a truth that a lot of people don't want to accept. And this conversation is stemming from a post that I made on Instagram, right?
Right.
And during that conversation, I mentioned how depending on where you live and what demographic of people are there in that city, different races of women treat you differently. So like how I lived in Denver, the non-black women treated me better in that particular city than the black women did at that time. And so I think it's dismissive to say that like, oh, he's with a non-black woman because he hates himself or he dislikes his own race of women and this, that, and the third. And it's not always that cut and dry. And it is important that I think that women hear us when we say, bro, we pay attention to the way we're treated. You feel what I'm saying? And it's not a race thing. Like, it's not like we would be open to dating a woman who's not of our own race because we feel like she a badder bitch or because we feel like this or that. It could literally come down to like, hey, this woman is treating me better than who I'm quote unquote supposed to be with. And that's a hard truth that some people are just gonna have to accept and get over.
It doesn't even have to be, in my opinion, it doesn't even have to be better than.
Yeah.
It can be, at this point in time in my life, I met a woman who was of a different race.
And it could be that simple.
That I fell in love with or I love or whatever that treats me like I want to be treated. That's it.
Yeah.
Point blank period. Like I have, that's not a discussion that I'm willing to like go at it with nobody about because I've had both.
Yeah.
And like I said, once again, people ask me, oh, you got a type? No, women.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
If I find a black woman that I love, boom, we there.
Yeah.
If I find a white woman that I love, we there.
Yeah.
Any other race, you there. You know what I'm saying? So it's never going to be a one-sided thing. Maybe I do gravitate towards something sometimes, but at the end of the day, however somebody is treating me at the time, you know,
that's what you go
that's what I go on. That's what I base it on. 100%.
Yeah, and I think to circle back to what I said earlier about, you know, women making us feel disposable sometimes, I feel like at times, don't kill me in the comments when I say this, but at times, our own women are the ones that make us feel the most disposable.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And when you travel the world, if you travel the country and you experience something that is different from that and makes you feel better about yourself as a man or makes you feel like you are more than just a provider, you are more than just this or that, and you start to get treated the way that you feel like you should be treated in a relationship, but when you finally experience that, it doesn't really matter at that point what race of the woman that's coming from. You just want to feel that good of a feeling all the time. Right. So yeah, I think the race thing gets so many people caught up and it turns into a whole nother thing, and it's pretty simple for the man.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, I think we literally just want a woman who treats us better.
100%. Yeah. I mean, that's the end goal.
Yeah.
But I mean, some people do go to the extent where they be like, I only want this one particular race. That's on them.
Yeah.
That ain't where we coming from.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, do you think that now that you've experienced the success, you've experienced getting a grip on entrepreneurship and stuff like that, do you think it has become a little bit more difficult for you to gauge a woman's true intentions?
Yeah, for me, because of the generation that we live in, because I've had it where I've been a person who, you know, going out buying this, doing this and doing that for different people, not just strictly women, but my homies. Like, if my homies don't have it or if my homies didn't have it, I was like, hey, bro, if you don't have the money or whatever, come with me, bro. Like, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
And that's how I've always been. But when I got put into those environments with women like that, I started seeing a different kind of vibe coming from certain women. You know, it was like, I don't know if they here because, you know, I'm handsome or whatever, or they here because I'm paying for something, or I'm doing this, or whatever. So now that comes along with like, look, trust issues kind of sort of, because I'm like, damn, I don't know what you're here for, to be honest. Because one day, like I've been there, bro, like you can have it all one day, and it can be gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, anything can happen. So at the end of the day, sometimes it makes it very, very hard to know who's there for that and who's there for the short term that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think I think my stance has always been one of the reasons why I want a career woman, or she don't necessarily have to be a woman who works a job, a 9 to 5. She, just be a successful entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, but you are successful at whatever it is that you're doing.
Right.
And the reason why I've always kind of wanted a partner that was of that wave, of that echelon of a woman, is because, one, that's kind of what my mom is. Like, my mom is a go-getter. Like, she always been self-sufficient. If my dad left tomorrow, she can figure it out. You know what I mean? And I think also, to get back to what you were saying, if I feel like I come into a relationship and right off the bat, you're with me because of what I can provide, and let's say I'm cool with that. Let's say I'm cool with you being with me for what I can provide. The scary thing about that is, like you said, I could fall off one day. You know what I mean? And if you are with me solely for that reason, the moment I fall off, you're going to lose interest in me because I'm not the person, or I'm not providing the thing that attracted you to me. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, if you are with me purely because you want to be with me and it don't really have anything to do with money, cool, yes, I'm going to provide if and when I have it. You know what I mean? But the moment that, let's say I want to change my careers, and I might go through a year where I'm not bringing in the money that I was bringing in at one time.
Right.
Am I going to turn you off now that I'm not the 6-figure earner that I was last year?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's the thing that has always been on my mind, of like, I want a woman to be with me because she wants to be with me. So if anything, and vice versa, so if anything changes between us financially, it don't matter, because I'm with you because I want you. I'm not with you because you got a good ass job or because your hair business or whatever the fuck doing good. Like, I'm with you because I'm with you.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that, bro. And I've told you this before. Like, I'm no matter how much I got, I never look at anybody else as less than or whatever. So
yeah, for sure.
I feel like, I look at somebody and I be like, man, I can help this person, or I can like help build them up. If I'm in a good position, I can help build this person up.
Mm-hmm.
If I really love them, or if I really want to rock with them.
Yeah.
That's just my thought. That's how I operate. I always want a woman that has a sense of independence about herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not gonna do everything. Yes, I'm gonna provide as a man. I'm gonna do what I can as a man and do my due diligence and my responsibility as a man in your life.
Yeah.
Making your life easier. But also too, I want somebody who's gonna get up and they're gonna do their own thing. They're gonna come home and they're gonna still need me to nurture them after they get home, after grinding all day and doing what they do.
Yeah.
Nobody who's just gonna be under my wing and just like be carrying them along.
Yeah.
The way. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah. And I also don't feel like we should be made guilty for feeling like that's what we want. And also, as you get older, you get to a point where you care less and less about the opinions of others.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? But sometimes people's opinions are loud. But I don't think there's anything wrong with a man wanting what you just described or what I'm describing. You feel what I'm saying? And sometimes I think we get shamed for that. We get shamed for having what we want. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes men get shamed for having an opinion on what we look for in a man, and it's like we should just accept women for who they are and what they are, and say we should just be happy that we got a woman. And that's not the case. You know what I mean? Like, that's not. I don't think we'll ever get to that point. I feel like everybody should have the opportunity or have the right to go after whatever it is exactly that they want in a person. What would you say? You've been married. You done dated seriously, you done had fun. What would you say dating has taught you about yourself thus far in life?
It just taught me really what I want, like my style of dating, my style of being in a relationship.
Yeah.
I really hate, they probably kill me when I say this, but I hate the what's your sign type people. Like,
yeah.
I really that don't really make a difference to me. Like,
yeah.
I feel like if you want to make it work, you're going to make it work. That's like grown people's... zodiac signs is a grown individual's way of being childish, in my opinion. Because, I don't feel like it really matters. But, it's kind of taught me, how I am as a person, what I want. You know, I'm a person who needs to be reassured of things. So date people who don't get that reassurance, that shows me that I need that.
Yeah.
Date people that do give me that reassurance, shows me that I need that. Like I said, with the sense of independence, like I don't want to always feel like we always together. Like, yes, of course, I want to be with a person, like physical touch and, you know, quality time or whatever is important.
Yeah.
But I don't want to always feel like we under each other all the time.
Yeah. We need your space within a relationship.
Yeah, so like, it's just taught me different things. Because like, you can go into a relationship and you be like, man, I want to be with this person all the time. But then you get to a point where you're like, damn, I kind of want to be with the homies. I want to have my own space, like watching my own show.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So it's just taught me a lot of things, because I've been in different types of relationship. Like I've been in like a clingy type of relationship. I've been in a relationship where this person wasn't as clingy and they didn't make me feel like they wanted to be around me, and I was confused about that. I'm like, damn, what's the issue? But that's just the type of person they are.
Yeah.
You know, so being in those different relationships really just kind of expose or help you to understand better,
yeah,
you know, who you are, what you need.
I definitely agree with that, and that's why, you know, to the whole getting married early thing, you know what I mean? I feel like it's very useful to get out into the world, and I'm not saying get out and be a hoe, but to get out into the world and date different types of people,
right?
Because you don't really know 100% sure what kind of person matches you for real until you've had people that don't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I was talking to a homegirl about when you live with your partner, there's a whole nother experience. And if you don't have that until you get married, you got a whole new set of problems that you've never experienced before. And of course, there's going to be a new set of problems that comes with being a married couple in general as well, and you're just going to have to figure that out. But I think that a person who is experienced in dating is going to have a lot larger of a toolbox of problem solving than a person who hasn't had those experiences.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I think that it's healthy to get out into the world and, you know what I'm saying, not to bring the whole race thing up again, but shit, date different races of people, see what that's like, you know what I mean? See what those kind of people can offer you. They might offer you a new experience that you never even would have thought of, and even if you don't end up being with that person, it's something that you can use going forward.
Right.
And I think one of the things that you said, I have kind of always been the person where like I kind of still need my space within the relationship, and then I date somebody who didn't really need quality time like that. And that was the first time I had ever experienced that, and it made me a little uncomfortable. And so it made me deal with why did somebody needing space for me make me uncomfortable, and how must have my exes have felt when I did that to them. I might not have been on the same level or, you know, to the same degree, but I did do that to a partner before, and I never knew what it felt like to be on the other side of it.
Right.
And so, you know, if I ever did come across another woman who quality time wasn't at the top of her list, I kind of understand now how to deal with somebody who's like that.
Right.
Yeah, so you plan on having any children?
Yeah.
Have your folks had the talk where they ask you about it and shit like that?
Nah, bro. Like that, like I said, bro, they don't really. They know I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, they don't even ask me about dating anymore.
Okay.
If I tell them, I tell them. If not, you know, they just waiting on to see who I'm gonna introduce her to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do plan on having a child with children. You know, let's start with whatever we start with.
Yeah.
We get blessed with one, cool. But if we get blessed with more, that's cooler too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do want to have a child. I've been fortunate, you know, to this point, not to have any like unexpecteds.
For sure.
But and also too, it's been crazy, bro. Like I've been, everybody got a kid, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I love kids. Like when I date somebody with a kid,
yeah.
I've dated a couple people with kids, and when I date with the kid, bro, I get attached to the kid, so I really if the relationship don't work, I then want to call the CPS line, get the kid to work for me. Let me get the kid. I need custody of the kid.
Let's actually talk about that. What makes you open to dating women with children? Because that's a topic of single men who don't have children.
Yeah.
Especially in our age demographic, dating women who have children.
I guess it's just an attraction, bro. It's not really like a gravitating towards women with kids.
Yeah.
I guess like when I'm attracted to the woman and the kid at a point in time when we're dating is introduced to me and we get along with mesh, it just works like that.
I guess I probably should ask, why is having a child not a deal breaker for you? Because you don't have to choose a woman with a child.
Correct.
Like, you have the option to date women who are on the same, I won't say level, but they have the same life as you.
I guess maybe that question is answered because, it can be answered in a way because, like, I don't have to choose a girl with a kid, but since I've done it once, I know how that experience can be.
Yeah.
So now going forward or moving forward past it, I got the experience with a stepchild for an extended period of time. So that opens me up to like, not being opposed to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't really think, I think that's why it's not a deal breaker for me, because I've been there, and I got that option still.
Do you feel like women with children are a little easier to date?
Depends on the woman, bro.
Yeah.
Because some of these women, bro, they got kids, they be ready to go out and turn up every time they ain't got the kids. Yeah. And that ain't what I'm on.
Yeah. I haven't experienced that, nor would I date a woman who's on that type of time. But the thing that I have noticed, it was at a point where I was anti-dating women with children.
Yeah.
But the thing that I noticed was women with children play a lot less games. You know what I mean? In my personal experience, women with children aren't really too much with the bull because they really can't be. They don't have the time to be. They're a lot more nurturing because they're in motherhood.
Yeah.
And so they understand the needs of a man a lot of the times.
Yeah.
And then also the women with children that I've come across, the men that they had children with, they were with that person for a long time. And so they have all of this like mature, catering, loving experience than a lot of women who are, just having fun with a guy. You know what I mean? Like, when you are in a serious relationship with a person and a child comes out of that, especially if they were with the guy after they had the child, you know what I mean? So now you understand how the family dynamic works and stuff like that. And I don't know, to me, it just always seemed like women with children, and not to say that that's just my preference, I'm not saying that, but in my experience, it seems that the women with children, they are a lot more understanding of a whole lot of things. They have better time management. They respect your time more because they're respecting their own time. You know what I mean? Like, I can't waste the day. You know what I mean? I can't waste whatever time that I do have to be free with you. I don't have that to waste. So, there's just a lot more less BS to get through with women with children, opposed to not having.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's just like situational.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because like I've said, I've dated women with children, and some of them just use the kid the weekend free that they don't have a kid, like to just go out and go crazy and blackout and whatever, and then they get right back to it Sunday.
Yeah.
And they get the kids back. And that I really don't have a problem with. Like, that's your opinion. That's what you want to do. Cool. Have fun. But also, too, me as a person who wants a child, and I see my vision for my child being like, I can still have fun, but I still want to have my kid as my solid, foundation. Like, I want to build a solid foundation for the kid.
Yeah.
To where he's seeing a good example. not his dad or his mama coming in sloppy drunk or arguing because we drinking or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that's just my opinion on things.
Yeah.
That's just that's what I've been through, going through the dating phases with kids.
For sure. Well, I think that's all the topics I got, bro. You got anything else on your mind, bro, that you want to get off your chest?
No,
I got you here.
No, that's it, man.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
This ain't gonna be the last time.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate y'all, bro. That's a wrap on Cruise Control, episode 3. I'm gonna get back up with you.